Namaste, yogis. How are you? I am here today on our Meet a Yogi with Energy Goddess Maureen Saladino. Welcome to the Sadhana Meet a Yogi, Maureen.
Meet a Yogi Maureen.
I know, that's a lot of M's.
I know, it is.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking.
This is really popular. It's so nice to have so many people here on the call. I first of all wanted to give a couple of announcements that we have another Meet a Yogi event this Sunday, and it's a really unusual Meet a Yogi event where we have somebody who's actually already an internationally known yoga teacher, and he teaches something that is so neat. He teaches laughter yoga. And if you haven't done it, it sounds like a gimmick. It sounds like, like goat yoga or something, but actually laughter yoga is, it's not a serious practice because you're laughing, but it's a real practice that originated where he is from in the Himalayan mountains, and that's how he was raised from the age of 5 to as a yogi. And so I'm really looking forward to having him on the call, and it's very unusual for me to be able to have somebody of his caliber, a person who's been on national TV shows, and he's just getting ready to go on Deal or No Deal in a little bit. It's like cool. So maybe he'll manifest some money on there. Also, I just want to let you know also that we're going to be launching the first course, which is about breath mastery work, during that call on Sunday. So I invite you all here to attend that call. It's going to be Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, Maureen, let's get to it.
Yay!
Maureen Saladino is starting her third business, and her passion is to help goddesses like me rise above, overcome their limiting beliefs, and step into their highest and greatest power. Welcome, Maureen. I love your Facebook group.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you for inviting me to your community. This is so much fun. Yay.
You're welcome. So, Maureen, can you tell me a little bit about what we're going to learn tonight, this candle ceremony, and, how I noticed in the handout that we have, which we'll link below in the description box if you're watching the replay, that you said you've been doing this for about 2 years. So is this something you were taught? Is it something that you intuited to do? How did this come about?
I grew up in a spiritual family, raised Catholic, but not Catholic, not getting too much into it. My story is really funny. And my mom practices, she's a devout Catholic, but she's also a Wiccan. So it's kind of a very unique atmosphere, if you will. And I had just started teaching a money abundance course, and, pretty much became obsessed with the law of attraction and why it works, and how this ask, believe, receive method, at the time, 2008, my dad died. 2009, I was raped. In 2010, and we lost everything to a house fire. So here I am desperately watching The Secret every single moment that I could possibly, I know every single word, and I'm like, there's got to be something more to it. So instead of, really looking at that victim mentality, I went on this journey to try to figure it out. And I kind of made one of those pacts with the universe. It's like, once I figured it out, I want to teach people, because I knew there was more to just ask, believe, and receive. So I went through a series of experiments. And when I started teaching it to others, I kind of started blending this natural, goddess-like vibration, and people try to label me all these different things, which is really why it's hard for me to do a bio. I'd rather say, hey, let's have a conversation and really meet. Let's have tea. Let's go to yoga together and have, an organic lunch, something like that. Because that truly, interaction of that nature, whether it's virtually online or hugging in person, that's really truly where I shine. And so I kind of beat to my own drum when it comes to these things. So I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, I think I want to do these money spell things. And she got all excited, and she's like, my girl, because you want, your daughter, and she's like, oh, she's finally ready. And she shows me all these things, and I'm looking at it. And after about a few minutes, I was like, I stopped resonating. It didn't feel right to me.
So then she was showing you things that she knew about.
Right.
Because she's a Wiccan.
Right, because they have these cronies, and the cronies are like ancient wisdom, like basically goddess masters, and they know like the recipes. And then there was something about following somebody else's formula and then also calling it a spell that didn't resonate in my soul. So, you know, I'm watching it. I didn't talk to my mom, and I was just like, I hope I can cuss, but you know, I cuss. I might throw an F-bomb here or there, so please watch your.
Yeah, it's fine. We're going up on YouTube.
I'm like,
not on
fuck it.
Definitely.
And like, it literally is just how I do everything. You know, people are like, well, how do you know? And I'm like, I just literally, like, I get on the computer, I start typing, like everything that I do, it just comes from source. So I was like, I'm going to do my own darn thing. And I created this whole like little ritual, and I had no idea. And I was like so excited the next day, and I was like, Mom, this is what I did. I was like, it's not what your friends told me to do. I was like, it's not what you told me to do. I said, I just like followed this like inward guidance. And I was expecting to have like critique from my mom, you know, being a crony. And she looked at me and she said, Maureen, that's exactly how you do your ritual. And she's like, you don't do spells, you do ritual. Like you do a daily practice. That's what works really good for your generous soul. And I said, like, it kind of was like, I got like the nod of approval, and I was like, that's so cool. So then I went on an experiment with like, you know, a lot of the goddesses are here, and I'm like, guys, you got to try this. Like, you know, just tell me if it works. You know, I did it with my sister. I've done it with myself. I've done it like in bad energy. I've done it in good energy. I've done it in like all the different moon phases, because for me, if I'm actually going to teach it, and this is kind of like fun because this is the first time that I'm teaching this to the masses. Like a lot of ladies that are watching with us tonight have done the ritual, or they've heard about the ritual. You know, it's always kind of like, I'm going to, you know, lovingly call everybody out. It's like sometimes you hear about things, but it's not, you don't get into that daily practice until you're ready, you know?
Well, I wanted to share why I invited you to come and do this, because, you know, I'm kind of the opposite of you. My parents were very logical. And so I was really raised with this idea that sort of things had to be scientific and proven, even though, of course, my dad and mom did have their spiritual side to them. They just weren't like super into it all. Like my dad had read all the Carlos Castaneda books and stuff, and he was a big fan of him. So it wasn't that he, you know, there was no sense of that, but they were very logical, and I was raised with that. And so I was a philosophy major. I'm kind of like, you know, I need to see the proof or something. And it's hard for me to do the things that are just completely like, you know, law of attraction. There's an element of that just feels a little woo to me, but this I really loved. And the reason that I loved it is that when I did it, what I found was that it really helped me to focus on these goals that I've had that revolve around having money to accomplish them. And what I've realized is that in order to manifest things on this earth, you know, like just to make things concrete, to make your dreams come true, there's two things that you need: time and money. And if you're not willing to commit those things, then they're not going to happen. And so it really helped me to get clear about what my own goals were and to validate that they were important to me. That, you know, for example, having money to make sure my daughter is cared for, that's a real need, and that's an important need, and it's something that I should focus on, and I should be, you know, going forward. And it helped me to recognize how important it is to me when I really took a look at those goals that center around money. Because eventually I will either have to spend money or time to get them. But the main thing is that, you know, validating these goals for myself and becoming clear and becoming more focused on them is what I really loved about this ritual.
That's so awesome. And I love it. And that's really like, that is the secret sauce. You guys don't have to wait to the end. I promise. Like there's no pitch here. So the secret sauce is really creating a daily habit for yourself that's incredibly positive, that is focusing on your finances. And if that's hard, you can even use this money ritual as a release. Like, I'm really shitty with my finances right now, and that's okay. This is where I'm at. I'm going to release that through the fire. So you can use it's all positive. You know, just, you know, whatever your particular journey is. And I often find as light workers that if we had our choice, like a real true light worker would work for free. and there's this utopia community like Atlantis that really doesn't ever exist, but we think it does. And the reality is that we do have these beautiful gifts. And, you know, if we used to use a barter system back in the day, right now we just use an energy exchange, and that energy exchange happens to be a piece of like it's money. You know, because when we look at it, not charging for our services, not talking about the amazing talents that we have, we're literally saying no to the universe for other people to open up and explore their talents too. And that's a disservice, really, if you think about it like that. Like, you're doing a disservice not charging, or even like, you know, participating, whether it's not volunteer based, but like donation based, you know, like that's okay too, but there needs to be that exchange. And I've played with this so many times.
And people need to make that commitment, and until they make that commitment of time and money, then they're not committed. And that's what I see at people all the time. They're like, oh, I really wish that, you know, people, they sign up for my classes and they don't show up, and it's like, you didn't sell them on it, you didn't make them pay, and so they haven't committed.
Yeah.
And it's the first step in teaching, really, to get them to buy into it and commit to the process of learning. And that's how they do it in this culture. It's, you know, with your money, really. I mean, you can also do it with time, but really, I think most people, it's with their money that they do it. And of course, they also have to commit their time. But at first, the first step is the money.
Yeah. You know, and money, you know, money has a very masculine energy in general. So when we're looking at a masculine energy and we're females, like, a guy just has this natural confidence because his innate nature is like, I'm the provider, I do money. Women, it's different. We're changing that role. We're coming back into the old paradigm of who we truly were. And, you know, most of the time we did most of the hunting. So we were the breadwinners even back in the day. If you think about it, food was money. Food was currency. Like, yo, I got some like good bear skin. Yo, I got some good bear meat. Like, let's exchange. Everybody's happy. You know, I'm all about like, you know, the connected ancient roots. So, you know, I felt that, I don't know, I just was drawn to like doing like a daily practice. And when I first started it, you know, like you do anything, you control it. And like, there's like controlled, like, I feel like I'm a true alchemist. There's controlled experiments. And, you know, sharing it with others, I got to like explore all these different possibilities, really, like, of like, what does this look like? So, you know, I shared it with my mom, and my mom, you know, she likes to do her own thing. So it kind of worked. And I'm like, all right, you know, but my mom doesn't stay consistent. So, you know, I'm looking at that stat. And then my sister and we did it all summer long. And it's a funny story, but I actually got a side hustle as a bouncer at a gay club.
Okay.
When you're building a business, I don't think any of you guys really know this, and maybe I've shared it in passing, but yeah, I was a bouncer at a gay club one summer that I lived on the beach, and I was coaching because I wanted some extra money to put into Facebook ads. Like, no shame to my game, right? And that was a hilarious job. Anyway, so we're doing this abundance candle ritual, and
just so you know, like, Maureen is not particularly burly.
No, I'm not burly at all.
She's just like,
I'm not like, I mean, I'm
them nicely,
but I'm not your. Many people don't even know that I'm even gay, so it's just like whatever. Like, I just, you know, like I said, I beat to my own drum. So my sister didn't like my mom and sister don't like candles burning overnight. Okay, fine, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But I was like, okay, take away my control.
For that.
Take away my control. And I said, well, let's see if it works this way. And sure enough, and we manifested our whole entire trip up to Kripalu. We spent like a whole like 6 day doing this sister. Like, I had to do a rebirth ceremony. I went to see Gabby Bernstein. I wanted to show my sister how I changed my life, and we rebuilt our relationship because I was, you know, healing through PTSD. I was not the best of sisters. So it was like our bonding, and it's like spirituality is what connected me to the person and the woman that I am. And I do yoga, and this is my jam. So it was awesome to share that with her, and then share that I do ritual work, and she's a Reiki master and everything. So it was just this really amazing experience. And I realized, you know, slowly doing this process and getting feedback is like, holy smokes, like, this is why spells, like, they quote unquote work or don't work. You got to believe in it. But the whole process of why this candle is so important is because you're creating a new ritual for yourself.
Yeah, it's the ritual of it. And I
Like
think that, I wanted to go back to that point that you were making about how women don't sort of give themselves permission to kind of go after money because that hasn't been our role, which, first of all, I think that this idea of tradition, I went and I really explored that historically, and sort of what is preached to us as tradition is really basically the 1950s, which is an aberration in time. Women have always really been providers financially for their households, and it was really only during the 1950s and during the Victorian era when women were, certain classes of women were not working and were staying at home. So I just think that that's a real myth that has hurt our generation a lot, that women didn't earn money. But also I think that what I find for my group is that people aren't particularly motivated around money. They're motivated around helping people. So when people, you're the first guest where I've even allowed you to sort of mention the word money on my show, because I tell people, talk about helping people, because that's how you start to really get people in my community to recognize that it's important that they build a real business, because it's very difficult to help people when you cannot pay your bills doing what you love. Yeah. And then you end up, and I know this from experience because I actually had a house that went into foreclosure when I was teaching yoga. And, it was, I couldn't continue to only teach yoga at that point. Like, I had to go back to corporate world. And now I'm set on leaving it, but I'm set on leaving it and still actually being able to pay my bills at the same level that because I recognize it's important to take care of my daughter. It's important to pay my bills. It's important that I drive a car that is safe. So I should, that it's okay to know that I need money, and it's okay to just stopping your video of this one person just joined. And it's okay to recognize that you want it and need it and you deserve it.
Yeah, and that's all about worthiness and knowing that the more, I was talking about this on Soul Chat, like, when somebody rises above, you're giving somebody else permission to rise above. And if we can look at it like a sisterhood, a word, like a unity, because, let's just first say, I give the energy exchange because you have a type of yoga that you teach that I don't teach, or I don't want to teach it because I just want to be a participant. There's some classes you just never want to teach because you just want to be the student. You know what I mean? So by allowing that exchange, we're not only helping each other, but the more that we have in our tank, the more we can give for service. And I get plenty of things. I probably give away more things for free than I do ever charge, because I shared, I feel like I'm the coach, mentor, guide, strategist for the underdogs. I want everybody that is ready to shine, and they're so scared to step into that, hey, this isn't a bad thing.
Well, when I first started Sadhana, the idea was that I was basically, I have a background in engineering, software development. I'm very good with computers. And so the idea was that I was going to create this online store and basically kind of roll out the carpet for people and say, look, I'll run the mailing list, I'll do the marketing, I'll do all the techie stuff. All you need to do is, have something you want to sell, and I'll make it possible for you. And people wouldn't do it. And I was like, well, what's going on here? Because, I thought that their issue was that they didn't know how to do all that stuff. But what I learned was their issue was that they kind of had a fantasy in their mind about what they would do if they got professional and they made money at it, but they never really seriously intended to do it and put the time and effort into it. So I went way back because I still wanted to serve this community and said, okay, that's fine. This is where people are at. And I'm going to start showing them that because people were so demoralized, they didn't believe it was possible to make a living doing what they loved. And then what I found is that everyone believes that. Like, I literally know accountants who believe that nobody would pay them money. And I'm like, you're a freaking accountant. Like, literally, like, seriously, like, my accountant, her fantasy is to start her own business. And my business coach, you know, he's kind of runs through, I was like, everybody goes through this sense of being unworthy. It's not about yoga. Everybody worry that, you know, the world is colluding against them so they can't make a successful business, because that way they don't ever have to try at it.
Yeah, it's the shadow work of the money. And like, you guys literally couldn't be like on a better like time and energy frequency as we move. And like, we're already in pre-shadow retrograde phase, which is, that's when, if you ever want to know, it's the best time to do shadow work. So, you know, you might look at this candle ritual as a great time to say, ooh, they're really striking a nerve. I really, like, I might feel like I might be a little bit unworthy of money. And trust me, new level, new devil, it happens all the time. It's not like something that eludes us, guys. It's something that always shows, at least for me, like, it's just, it's always like that little, like, you know, I'm looking at how to price my next course. And I know, like, somebody said, well, charge what it's worth. I'm like, what it's worth is not what my audience can pay. I said, and there's a difference. I'm not undervaluing myself because I know who I am. I'm looking at how I can serve the most in the grandest capacity.
But you're making a choice about it, and you know that's there's also there's just like market factors around things as well. It's not necessarily about like, hey, you know, I can't, you know, people won't pay this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're selling, like I've looked at courses, the course that we're going to launch on Sunday, and you know, I've done the market research, and you know, there's some people like, oh, I'll pay like $20, and there's other people like, oh, I'd pay $1,000 for that, but you know, really, when you look at it, you look at the length of the course where we're going to price it, 127 is really about what you can charge for this type of course. And that's just a reality of pricing. But it doesn't mean that, you know,
doesn't mean that you're,
but I've seen people who have a course that's worth 127 who will sell it for like $10. Like, this is why I'm not on Udemy, because they suddenly get scared. You know, they've made this thing and they know it's valuable, and then they don't. And then they go, why don't people value it?
Right. Yeah.
Because you're only charging $10 for it. Yeah. So you showed them what it was worth. Nothing, you know, like it was worth the, you know, the price of a fast food meal.
Yeah. The price, and that's actually kind of sad that the price of a fast food meal is about $10, but literally it kind of is, like at least like $6. I live with no tax, so it's got to be way more expensive for you guys.
Yeah, so, really go there, but
no.
So let's talk. We've been talking about this ritual, and I think that we should
get in. I'm ready.
Tear it out.
So, do you have the list? Can you post the list?
Yeah, I can actually put the I can put the screen share on.
Oh, cool. I think it might be best to screen share, because I don't know about you guys, because you'll still be able to see me in the corner, right? Yeah.
But this is the download, and if you're watching on the replay, I'll put the link below, but it's at Sadhana Business /Maureen.
Can I share this so I can share your business as well? Because you made it look all pretty.
Sure. What do you want to know?
No, I just like, if I share this, like, people will know about Sadhana. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens is this is a free download that you get when you join both Maureen and the Sadhana mailing list. So you'll join both of our mailing lists, and when you get this, and then so you'll hear about all the other upcoming events that we have, and as well as Maureen's events. So it's a 2-for-1.
Oh, I thought somebody had a question. Okay, so I mean, I think you guys pretty much know about me, so I don't have to really like go into like much about this. But you know, basically, this is going to help you create a daily money ritual. And if in the back of your head, you know, there's any limiting beliefs, doubts, please save your questions to the end. This is my zone of genius. Like, I will sniff out the energy blocks, and like we can work through them, so I can help you create an even better ritual for yourself. So general rules of thumbs and questions that I always get asked is that, because yes, Catherine, the document will be shared by email. Beat to your own drum. So you want to use a brand new candle because it's a brand new ritual, and you're bringing in abundance or you're releasing abundance. So anytime that you do something, just, you want to create your own brand new space for it, right? We're going to use Page and Palo Santo. Yeah, I'm like saying Salo. I don't know why I'm saying Salo Santo today. I've said it all day. Interesting. So sage or Palo Santo in the ritual, and they're both clearing, herbs to use. Essential oils, if you have it, great. If not, that's okay too. But just think of something that makes you feel abundant. If you like lavender because it makes you feel calm, and you want to feel calm when you think about money, lavender is your go-to. If you like rose, you can use a rose essence or frankincense or, there's just so many that you can choose from. So just choose something that makes you feel abundant and happy when you smell it, because happiness is a vibrational state that we want to be in.
I brought mine, bergamot.
Oh, cool. Bergamot's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. You said it better. Bergamot. Mm-hmm. And then Yang Lang, even though it's it's kind of a sexy scent, but I think money's kind of sexy. So
yeah, money is sexy.
There's something kind of earthy about money to me, and that was why I chose those.
Lang Lang fires me up. It's almost like coffee to me. Like, you just don't want to give me that. I don't need any more than I already got. And then use, if you can, use real money. We're not going to be burning it. It just allows you to see money. Money has a vibration. Money has a feeling to it. So using real money is really awesome. If you don't have real money, I swear to God, I thought I had it right by me.
I actually bought my cards. So
you can also use an abundance check. Abundance check.
Oh, I like those. Those are fancy.
I have my own version of it. This is a little.
I just made little cards that had
perfect
goals, financial goals, and just sort of
same thing as writing an abundance check. So
I like those checks though.
I'll share it with you. I'm actually about to start a Facebook ad for my particular. I got 5 or 6 different. It comes in the abundance toolkit that I have. So anyway. So you can use the abundance check. I love that. So I'm going to add that to the ritual now, Suzanne, as well as, reference to you. I love learning because we don't know until we collaborate, and I would fully 100 bazillion, we collaborate, we share. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I bet a note card under there would be just as important, because I put a note card in my goddess box and make abundance happen. So anyway, any way that really feels aligned. And I love that you even said it was I'm doing this. Is that okay? You didn't say you didn't come at it oh, not that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the expert, but it's just you're coming at it oh, well, I'm doing this. And I'm like, yeah. So feel free to be I'm doing this, and know that you're perfectly aligned. Okay. I mean, I know this isn't mostly.
I like how you use the fat stack. So,
but it's just, I don't know. That's what I jam with. Because when you align to what you think and not following some recipe, you're going to be able to fucking create more abundance in your life. That's just how it works, because your vibration is aligned to it. You're abundance checks, real money. Yeah, I want to do this. That's going to make this whole ritual become invigorated to your soul and to your vibration. And the universe is going to say, yo, come here. I want to give you more. It's kind of cute like that. So, incense is optional if you want to create that in your goddess altar. And then optional items, you can use crystals, talisman, feathers, flowers. Just be creative, have fun, bring your kids into it. Just really enjoy the process, because again, everything that makes you feel abundant, which is, just a side note, but one of my most downloaded and seen blogs is manifestation and masturbation.
Really?
Huh?
That sounds like a topic for another night.
It can be, but I just want to plant those seeds, because you want to be in a vibration of love. Love equals it's love brings in money. Money is love. I love money. Money loves me. That's just how it works. For real. It really does. It works like that. And that is a topic for
once you get your candle lit, you can have a little special time.
Exactly, goddess time. So I'm not able to, yes, tantra, like tantric sex, kundalini energy, letting that real like masculine, feminine energy roll up and through your vertebrae and freaking ignite the fire within, ignites the freaking abundance within. You ever notice you get bills when you're feeling like crap, but you get like, you know, a new client when you feel great? There's no there's no science to it, guys. I feel good. People are coming to me and saying hello. You feel like crap. You got a bad news, like, you know, something happened bad. You are not like all like rainbows and butterflies when you go out. If you have to go out in public, you're like, and somebody's like, "How you doing?" You're like, "I'm fine." Don't nobody talk to me today. I will fucking cut you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not vibing.
Yeah.
So it's all about the vibes. And I always recommend, like, you know, be in a good vibrational state when you do this. There is no right or wrong time. There's times that will bring in more vibrational energy for you to make things happen. But always go when you're in your high vibe. Always, always, always. So if it's the new moon and everybody's like, you need to do your new moon candle ritual, and you're feeling like, I want to Netflix and chill, you get your happy goddess butt and Netflix and chill. You'll be okay. I promise. It's worse if you do ritual when you're not in alignment than it is for you to do ritual. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know, so that's like just a really important, powerful thing. Like, give yourself permission to feel all the stuff that might not be working out really well in your favor, and know that you can come back, honor yourself, and do ritual when you're really feeling high in vibe. Because it really, if you do a ritual and you're not in high vibe and you test it out to high vibe, there's going to be a dramatic impact of how it affects you and your finances. And nobody has time for that. I mean, I hope you guys know, because I don't.
Okay, so we have our candle, our new candle. Yep. We have our cards, our money, and we have our essential oils, yep, our crystals, if we want. Is there anything else that you use?
Sage.
Sage.
Yes. So first we're going to start off by lighting sage. Now, okay. Thank you, Mom. I got this. Did you hear Mom in the background? Like,
yeah, she's helping us out.
She was like making sure. So Palo Santo or sage. Okay. So if you don't know how to clear your energy space, it's just very simple. You just light your sage. First, you want to start with yourself. And how we do that is we receive energy through our left hand, but again, you might receive it through your right. So I start with my left, and I come all the way down into my armpit. And then I come all the way down, like basically through my torso, all the way down to my feet, left side. And then I lift up my left leg. I'll show you guys like a real video because I don't have enough space. And then you come up and right at your crotch, try not to burn anything there. But right at your crotch, you really want to keep the sage or the Palo Santo because it's going to start clearing out your chakras. And then you come down to the right, lift up your right leg. It's really important to go underneath your whole entire energy vibrational system. And then you come up to your right, you bring it back, up around in this. And then
so basically sort of like make a gingerbread man outline around your body.
Exactly. You gingerbread your body in sage or Palo Santo. And really focus on, you know, your root chakra because that's going to, you know, help open and align. Then what you want to do is you want to go around your space. So everywhere that you're creating your ritual, you know, if you're going to put it in the corner of your house, if you're going to create a little altar space outside because it's gorgeous, but you might not want to leave money outside, whatever. I'm a renegade, so I'll just leave money outside. So, you know, wherever you feel safe and comfortable, you want to you want to clear that energy vibration as well. And then what you're going to do is grab your essential oil. And again, it doesn't matter. I'm actually using a clear quartz. I've been working with this few different blends for my third business. So, and of course, just like I do everything, I'm not selling stuff until I test it to make sure it works. So this is the last batch that we tested like I don't know, like years ago, but it's my favorite essential oil. And so you take your candle, or you take your money. Yeah, where the hell? Oh, there it is. You take your money, take your essential oil, and if you have a roller, you can just dab it on the corner, but I don't have a roller in this guy, so I just flip it upside down. And then
so what kind of oil do you use?
I'm using a clear quartz oil. You can use any oil. Peppermint, sage, bergamot, like what you have, frankincense, lavender, it doesn't matter.
But you're using quartz.
I'm using quartz. Yeah. That's what I'm using tonight. This is the end of this cycle that I started using quartz for the ritual. So I'm coming to a new dimensional space. So I figured it was perfect to finish up this bottle. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to anoint all four corners with your oil. Like press it, press it, press it, and press it. And trust me, the bank will still accept your dollars if you need to deposit it. Essential oils and all.
Why does your money smell so good?
So, and the same thing, right? Exactly. Why does your money smell so? The same thing for your note card. The same thing for, you know, if you want to write out your own check, or if you want to print it up, you know, whatever you're using to put under your candle, because we want to put that under the candle. So now that we have our bill anointed, you know, the general premise, because this is just teaching, is like when you're doing this alone, you want to create that 30. Oh, you guys have a whole bunch of money blocks. Do you see the sage? It is like a freaking smoke storm up in here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Holy smokes. Woo, guys. All right, let's release those money blocks. So I personally like to fold my money. I don't know. It just feels cool. Plus, I like to add a lot of bills. So I just fold my money. And then, like, basically what that's going to look like, if you have it from, like, if this was a flat board, like, if that was the altar, it would be like that.
Okay.
Okay. If it's a note card, all right, just to make it look easier. I need, like, a freaking camera team, man.
You could have gotten your phone in on it and then had that as a second app.
Okay, here, I'll do it on my phone.
I actually use tea lights. Yeah,
tea lights work too.
Because you know, and I'll show you, because I actually have a cool thing that I put them on. This is the coolest thing. My daughter made this for me in the style of my favorite artist. She's an amazing ceramic artist. And so she made this, and it has all these different things that represent this house that we're in, and our family.
I'm like crying here. This whole room is filled with sage.
It's special to me, and so I put the candles on that.
That was a gorgeous, and that's perfect because you're bringing in things that mean a lot to you. They mean love, they mean abundance, they mean appreciation and gratitude, and all that great stuff. So that's a beautiful way to honor your money altar.
Things that have a sacred energy to them.
Absolutely. So choose that same thing, ladies. So next, you want to anoint your candle. Now you can like get all fancy pants and take like herbs or, you know, flower essence and put them on the top of your candle. And then what I do is I'm using a multicolor candle just because I feel that this is one of the most abundant months we are going to experience this year, like super good. I just drizzle a little bit of the oil, not a lot. You don't want to go cray-cray, just a little bit. And then you swirl it. So the top of your candle or the top of your tea candle or whatever you're using has just a little coating of all the oil. So it's going to smell good. And something that I didn't put in the actual document is that now take your essential oil, place it on your wrist points, your third eye, and then neck, smell it. God, that smells good. I wish there was a scratch and sniff screen.
Yeah, smell-o-vision for Zoom.
And when you do this, you lock in the vibration of happiness and love, which is why you want to be in a really good vibe when you start your rituals, right? Okay, so now we have all that in motion. So you light your candle. And now, like, literally, like, in namaste prayer hands, like, you just bow your head and you ask. You ask to receive. You ask to release. And everything that you need to share about your story and everything else, you just let it go into the candle. And make sure, like, if you're releasing, you end it with a positive note. And if you're attracting abundance, make sure that everything underneath that you are wanting to manifest is in alignment with what your thoughts are, with your prayer's intention. And then you're set to go.
And so then you light the candle, and I know in your instructions you said that you want to allow about between a half hour and an hour for this.
For yourself. Like, when you're not with us, like, now you've just learned the formula. Like, you have the formula to do this on your own. And this is perfect time. The new moon is on Thursday. You know, the general rule of thumb is that from a new moon to a full moon is a great time to do this. Again, when you're in high vibration. And the whole premise is that, you know, you're spending that extra time daily to light your candle, set your intention. Maybe it's just repeating a money mantra. Like,
and I think what's nice about this to me is that whether you see it as sort of a magical process or whether you simply see it as a time to really meditate and focus on what are these things that I really am working to create in my life, and how do I, you know, make it possible for these things to like reaffirm my intention on those things. You know, I think it works on a lot of different levels, and however you can relate to it, you know, whether you see it as sort of like I'm drawing on all the forces of the universe, or whether you see it as, you know, this is something that just helps me to focus on what is it that I really want to do with my life, and how, and affirming that it's okay to want the tools to make those things happen.
Yeah, and abundance is our birthright, and I really truly believe that the universe is incredibly abundant, like beyond imaginable. And, you know, the paradigm that we live in suppresses that in a way. But if we start to understand that there's possibilities and we raise the level of our vibration or our consciousness, we truly can get to that abundant state. Because, you know, when we start to understand that, we allow, like, we can help more people. Like, I know I know that working with the underdogs is way better than working with the top 1%, because now I'm giving an opportunity for more people to step into their light and shine and do what you and I do, Suzanne.
Right.
You know, and the one thing about yoga teacher training, and just like coaching school, and many even like in college and business, they don't teach you how to be successful in business. The world and universe doesn't teach us that. Like, you know, there's a lot of stigmatisms about success, especially being a light worker. I mean, shit, if I could work for free, I would. But at the end of the day, I got to take care of Bear and me.
Well, I'll talk a little bit about that, because in yoga world specifically, there's a history in yoga of the people who practice yoga being renunciates. And so they've given away all of their earthly goods and they beg for their food. And it's, you know, it's easy to think, well, I think what's appealing about that is this idea that if you didn't need the material things of this world, you're sort of free of want and longing. And recently I read Swami Kripalu's autobiography, which is very good. There's this sort of format to these biographies that there's somewhat of a mythical format. But it was so fascinating. Here was this man who was a very well-known renunciate, and yet he talked a lot about all these issues around money, and he still had to deal with it. Like, he was a renunciate. He wasn't supposed to have earthly possessions, but he was quite well-known and beloved, and so people wanted to give him, you know, rich silks and rich foods, even though he was supposed to be, you know, pretty much fasting all the time or eating very limited, simple foods. And what was he supposed to do? Deny the gifts that they wanted to give him? He struggled with it. He was called to build a temple, and then he had to work with a merchant who had the money and the funds to do it. And then recently I was watching a documentary about the Buddha, and they were saying that when he attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, that part of the reason that Buddhism spread is that there were a whole bunch of merchants who basically turned that into like a place to come, and they financially made it happen for people
That's
to
so
be able
cool.
to go there. So, I think like this idea that there are people who are so pure and they don't need money, I think it's a fantasy. And I think that even people who are, very spiritual still have to deal with money and the material world, because we're in a material world right now. So I don't think it's about, I think that we need to recognize that some of these longings are valid. And I think that's what the ceremony does, is it says it's okay to want to take care of your family. It's okay to want to do your important work on this planet. It's okay to want to publish your book. It's okay to want to produce a video.
Yeah.
Because
you're sharing.
This is how you're going to make it happen.
I mean, I coached for 2 years for free, and I did it because I needed confidence, and I was raised old school, and light worker old school. You train, you learn, you teach what you learn, you ask for guidance, like you barter, you do this, and then it's not mastery, but you're ready to teach. You're like, because luckily, like, and I said how blessed I was with my yoga teacher program. Like, holy smokes. Like, if I would have done a 2-week crash course, I wouldn't know how to teach.
Yeah.
But we did so much practice. I remember the first time I had to cue something, and it was something so easy. It was half moon. And I was like, yeah. So you're going to raise your hands above your head and put your arms and your hands in prayer position, and you're going to stretch to the right. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, you're going to come back. Like, I was stopped, and my teacher was like, Maureen, I know, like, you're a pretty good speaker. What's going on here? And I'm like, I don't know how to teach, man. Like, I completely froze, and everybody in the class was like, the confident girl is like fucking up. And the funny thing is like, it's more of like a vibration that that I am, inside, like there's a lot of like self-doubt and stuff, but projected wise, people think I got all my shit together. I'm like, dude, and I'm like, I can't do this sitting down. So I stand up and I do the same thing. And he's like, just sit down, Maureen, sit down, take a deep breath, close your eyes. I closed my eyes and I felt the vibration of the pose, and I taught it like it was seamless. And he's like, that's who you are as a teacher. I mean, this was like week 1.
That's so wonderful. Your triggers are really nice.
Whoa. Because I got schooled because, coaching, like showing up like this is easy for me now because I've done it so much. I didn't even do like a major, I always do a freak out, but it was like a mini freak out this time. Like it gets better. But I love the fear. I don't know, there's something inside of it. So I was like, damn. So I started doing my routines with my eyes closed and visualizing and feeling it in my body and then writing things down. Because that's how I could relate with
But it is about practice. And, what I noticed is that I know people who have been teaching for a really long time who still do not feel like they're worthy of charging and getting what they want. And, are always saying that there's people who are preventing them from doing what they want to do. And, it's true that practice, when you start, you have to not charge as much and get your confidence up. But it's not true that just over time you will gain confidence. So, to me, these things around business, this is a tool that can help you to get to becoming more confident that it's okay to charge what you're worth, and it's okay to, that if you have a dream of becoming professional, and this is why I do these Media Yogi events, a lot of people, they have a fantasy that they're going to go to a place like Crip Hollow and they're going to teach and they're going to be, a wonderful, you talked about going to see Gabriella, is it Bernstein?
Yeah.
And, like they sort of think, they kind of think, have a dream of really sharing their teachings with people at that scale. And part of the reason I do these events is that you don't get to present to a room of 150 people right off the bat. You have to come and talk to my 20 YouTube subscribers for a little while. Like you have to come and do things at a little smaller scale and learn the skills. And then that's how you start to progress. And so it's important. I think it's important. I want everybody in my group to eventually present at that level. And I'm trying to create the opportunity for people to just start and have something low risk where you can come and you can screw it up. And, the worst thing that happens is we hate it so much that we don't even put it up on YouTube. We wasted an hour, but hopefully, everybody will come back and I've had people, and you can watch them if you go back through my YouTube channel.
That's awesome.
You can watch people who do it over and over again start to really become, much more professional and polished in their presentations. And so to me, this money ritual is about, finding this way to recognize that your dreams are important and that you have to make them real, and to start taking those steps in your mind so that you can start taking the positive steps toward actually making these things happen. And just as I was looking over these cards, there are a couple of things that I've forgotten about. And so it was nice to come back and remind myself that these are some goals that I really have in my heart and still are important to me. Okay, so we've been talking for a while, and we have lots.
Yeah, we have. It's around it's about an hour. So
what I'm going to do is
it's about 40.
I'm going to stop the recording. Maureen, how can people find you?
Okay, so the best place to find me literally is on Facebook. Maureen Saladino. It is my Facebook. I'm public.
You have the soul. It's called the.
I have Soul Tribe, so I can put it in the links. I guess this will be for the replay, but
no, for the replay, I'll just send it to me and I'll put it.
Oh yeah, I'll send you all the links in my.
We'll put links down below.
I have a free Facebook group called Soul Tribe. I'm all over social.
And you have a website, MaureenSaladino.com.
It's a little outdated, so but most likely, if you guys really just want to hang out with me, I double dog dare you, triple dog dare you. Just message me and have a conversation and let's chat. Whether you're curious about this money ritual, whether you're not sure, whether you have limiting beliefs, blocks, I can help you work through it. It's an honor, it's a joy, it's a blessing. And a lot of times people won't message personally because they're scared. I'm not charging you. I'm just saying, let's have a conversation. If an opportunity arises that, there's a deeper connection, we look at what that looks like in the future. But at the moment, I just want to make sure that you are creating the abundance and the lifestyle and the dream that you truly want and need, because that's my mission and goal.
I love your Facebook group and the things that you share in there, and about helping people to start to work on their own intuitive skills and the tools, using crystals, using cards to tap into your intuition.
Yeah. I'm just generosity, and it goes back to your core values. It's appreciation, authenticity, integrity. That's how I live. That's how I expect to be treated. That's how I get respected back from my tribe. I want to give you those resources because you got to look at how lucky my life really is. Some of the top people out there have mentored me, and I've been in the skin for a long time, and skin long enough to be in college, and actually had the balls to ask these people, and they said yes. And a lot of my mentors never charged me because I was a poor college student. It is my honor and blessing to give that same freaking vibrational feeling back to another soul.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm actually going to have him do this as a call, but Jeff Trutzen, who does nonviolent communications, they talk about needs, fundamental needs, like it's all based on like Maslow's hierarchy of
Mm-hmm.
needs, and that we're all trying to get our needs met. But interestingly, money is not a need. And I actually want him to come and do a talk about that, because money is just a tool to get a need met. And so actually, like, one of the things that always stopped me from really starting a business up before was, I didn't have a bucket of money. I always hear people need a lot of money to start a business.
Right.
And one of it was actually the money kind of came as I needed it, because, you don't need a big bucket. You just need money at different times along the way. But the other thing was that I've had people who have just helped me for free, like incredibly generously. I have a team of instructional designers that shows up every Friday and they commit their work. It's like amazing to me that all these people help me out. So, this money ceremony, some of it's about manifesting the money, and some of it's just about manifesting the support that you need to make your dreams happen, which may not come in the form of money, but still could be a gift to you from the universe.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's, and if you are watching this on YouTube, like it, share it, make comments. That really helps more people to see it. And we hope that you enjoy it, and check out all the other videos that we have here on Sadhana, and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. And thanks everybody who's attending. We're going to stay on the call, and I'm just going to end the recording. Thank you, Maureen.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. And please check the links in the comments below. Message me. I'm here for you. I love you. Namaste. And thank you so much for paying attention. Thank you for listening. And thank you for showing up for a happy community. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Thank you, Maureen. Same.